about making America great again.
Breaking tonight, the House of Representatives backing down from their original effort to condemn anti-Semitism, the anti-Semitism of this woman, Ilhan Omar, a new representative from Minnesota that's making repeated anti-Semitic comments. The Democrats had intended to call her out, but instead they approved a weak statement that calls out all hatred just so that she won't feel bad. But you know what? She should feel bad. She should feel really bad. And if the Democrats had any real leadership, they would kick her right off the Foreign Affairs Committee, because this is a woman that doesn't seem to have the best interests of America at heart. Consider her history. Ms. Omar has suggested supporters of Israel hold too much power in America, and she's done this specifically and repeatedly in terms that are undoubtedly anti-Semitic. I want you to think about what she just said here days ago, trying to suggest that American Jews are more loyal to Israel. Watch.
Talk about the political influence in this country that says it is okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country.
She has also tweeted that Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. Now, this is being interpreted as her saying, effectively, the Jewish people are trying to control the world. She also tweeted that support for Israel in Congress is all about the Benjamins, thereby promoting a conspiracy theory that Jewish people are somehow buying off politicians. The Democrats, I will tell you, they got a big problem in this woman, a big problem on their hands. They got a rogue politician who hates Israel, our historic ally in the Middle East, and may even hate the United States of America. We learned tonight that she once asked a judge to show leniency towards a group of men convicted of trying to join ISIS to kill Americans and Jews. And tonight, after all this, this woman is still on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Joining me right now, President of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Dr. Jasser, good to have you back. You know,
great to be with you.
Do they have a problem? Is this out of control? Because to me, the logical response on this one was to say, okay, maybe the Foreign Affairs Committee is not the right place for this particular representative from Minnesota.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is no depth that the Democrats don't seem to be able to go down to. First, Pelosi condemned it, then she did a 180. Then you had Clyburn today sort of start to dabble in Holocaust denial as he was trying to explain it. Then you had Congresswoman Schakowsky basically say, well, it's okay because she's a Somali immigrant and her culture is different, which I guess as a Muslim, I find that offensive, which is this bizarre bigotry that they show of low expectations, where they treat Muslims like kids, like they infantilize her, where, oh, it's okay, she's a new freshman congresswoman. And when they do that, by the way, she's now, her and her lobbyists, the Islamist lobby behind her, are doing victory laps by email, fundraising off of her victory that this watered-down resolution that called out all bigotry, all hate, etc., shows that they have power. Their vote means something in the Congress. This is not just regular old Americans. These are Islamist ideologues, and working together in the red-green axis with the socialists together, saying they now run the show. And so this is just like a kid. You don't show them the lesson and show them what happens when they act out and act not as adults. They're going to then become indignant and do it over and over again. And that's what her tweet showed. She continued to do it over and over.
She holds the power because Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing started, by the way, they wanted this resolution basically to deal with this woman. And then they did this 180, as you say, and they've backtracked on all of it. And if you ask me, she certainly showed that she holds a whole heck of a lot of power. What is it that Nancy Pelosi is so frightened of?
Well, it appears that her base is the radical left. Her base is, I'm old enough to remember, Trish, in 2011 when I testified to Congressman King's committee, Congressman Ellison demanded, by the way, her predecessor, demanded that he have a separate testimony time so he could cry a river about all the hate about Muslims, etc. So her base is doing the same thing in this resolution that Ellison did back in 11, which is forget about American security, forget about the real threats, treat Muslims as kids, have a low expectation bigotry, don't treat them as adults and as equals, and let them do whatever they want because their base is what's important, and their base is no longer the moderate center, it's the far left the AOCs, the Rashida Tlaibs now, and those that have huge social media footprints, and that's what they care about. It's the social media footprint. It has nothing to do with ideas and protecting America.
Well, you know, it seems to me you're there to protect the country, right? You're there to lead the country. And I question who's backing Ilhan Omar. I mean, I saw her tweet on Venezuela. She somehow thinks that the U.S. is responsible for all this. She chooses to ignore the fact that Hugo Chavez's economic policies, coupled with Maduro's, sent that country straight into the ground, costing people their lives, costing people their freedoms. And she doesn't care. She doesn't care about that, refuses to call Maduro a dictator, while simultaneously looking to get, you know, ISIS fighters off easy. Zudi.
Exactly. I mean, look who's supporting her. The Tehran Times, the media arm of Khomeini, basically celebrated her as the courageous, strongest politician in America today, exaggerating through almost like a Stalin-esque propaganda. She's in Eritrea this week, by the way, taking photos 3-4 days ago, talking about peace and justice in Eritrea. Did she complain about their tyranny, their enslavement of their population, this Muslim government that is one of the worst offenders of religious freedom? No, she doesn't do that when it comes to Muslim majority governments, only Saudi Arabia now because they're against the Brotherhood. But other than that, she has a classic joining. And we see this at the UN, Trish. It's seen every day where Israel and the West become the focus of most of their resolutions, and they ignore the tyranny and oppression and dictatorship of most of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation countries.
It's scary stuff. I'd get her off that Foreign Affairs Committee ASAP.
Absolutely.
Zudi, good to see you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jasser.